Think cruise missiles are the deadliest thing in Russia's arsenal? Yes, it is. But there is an underrated weapon with the deadliest impact. Meet the Geran 2, a loitering munition so cheap, so persistent, and now so mass-produced that Russia is using it to bombard Ukraine nearly every single day. The result? Explosions echoing from Odessa to Dnipropetrovsk. Not from million-dollar missiles, but from $30,000 drones flying in swarms. Here is how the world saw how dangerous these drones could truly become. Let's see what we can dig up. The week of June 20th, 2025, is another nightmare for Ukraine. That day, Russia's Ministry of Defense announced precision strikes deep into the Dnipropetrovsk region. But these weren't just random hits, they were tactical. Targets included bridges, a UAV command post, and even a military camp housing Ukraine's Joint Task Force. The goal was simple. It was for paralyzed movement and blind drone coordination. Meanwhile, on the same day, unofficial Russian media reported another wave, this time targeting UAV production facilities in Zaporizhzhia. These weren't off-the-shelf hobby drones. These were industrial-grade systems, potentially assembling Ukraine's naval drones, the same ones used to target Crimea. And then came June 21st. Kremenchug? Hit. Energy and military infrastructure? Damaged. Odessa? Slammed with geran 2 drones near Shkolny airfield. The aftermath? Secondary explosions. A sign that ammo depots, radar stations, or active UAV units were destroyed. Ukraine's PD-1, PD-2, and UJ-22 drones were believed to be stationed there, along with facilities to assemble new maritime drones. This wasn't random bombing. This was methodical, strategic, industrial warfare by drone. Is a 40 to 50 kilograms explosive warhead, much less than a cruise missile. But Russia isn't betting on one drone. They're betting on dozens. At around $30,000 to $50,000 a unit, Geran 2s are dirt cheap compared to a Caliber or Iskander missile, which costs upwards of $1 to $2 million. So for the cost of one missile, Russia can launch 40 drones. That's 40 targets, 40 disruptions, and 40 problems for Ukraine to track and shoot down. And here's the kicker. Ukraine's air defense isn't cheap. Missiles from systems like NASAMS or Iris-T can cost $400,000 or more, just to shoot down a drone that's worth less than a used car. This is where Russia's drone doctrine wins. Flood the skies, exhaust the defenders. Repeat, it's not just firepower, it's financial warfare. Russia's playing a numbers game Ukraine can't afford to win. So how can Russia afford to launch these attacks every day? Because they're building 500 Geran 2 a month. According to an exclusive report by Army Recognition, Russia is ramping up production using localized supply chains and special economic zones, basically turning civilian factories into drone workshops. No more full reliance on Iranian imports. This is now a Russian product, tailored for mass deployment. At this scale, Russia doesn't need to stockpile missiles. They can launch drones daily, indefinitely, until Ukraine runs out of air defenses or the West runs out of patience. This isn't just a tactical shift, it's a strategic evolution. Russia has found a way to replace million-dollar missiles with budget drones and still cripple enemy infrastructure week after week. In military terms, that's a force multiplier. In psychological terms, that's exhaustion. Let's look at the battlefield impact. Ukraine is now caught in a dangerous bind, facing a daily onslaught of low-cost Russian drones that are cheap to produce but expensive to stop. Western-supplied air defense systems like NASAMS, Iris-T, and Patriot were designed to intercept high-value aerial threats. But when they're forced to take down $30,000 drones with missiles that cost 10 times more, the math doesn't work in Kiev's favor. And that's exactly the trap Russia has set. The Geran 2s aren't just being fired at random targets. They are methodically disrupting Ukraine's war-fighting backbone. Bridges in the Dnipropetrovsk region, key arteries for moving troops and supplies, have been damaged or taken out of commission. UAV command posts, vital for coordinating drone surveillance and strikes, have been hit, undermining Ukraine's own drone operations. Power infrastructure in places like Kremenchug has been targeted repeatedly, leading to rolling blackouts that impact everything from air defense radar grids to military logistics and industrial output. Perhaps most concerning is the attack on Shkolny airfield near Odessa. This facility wasn't just a runway, it served as a hub for Ukraine's drone deployment. The PD-1, PD-2, and UJ-22 systems operated there played a major role in reconnaissance, and in some cases, even in combat roles. When geran 2 drones struck the base, the resulting secondary explosions signaled a critical loss. Ammunition depots, air defense units, and likely several operational UAVs were destroyed in the blast. Even more alarming was the suspected presence of maritime drone assembly units on site. These are the very same systems Ukraine has used in high-profile attacks against the Russian Black Sea Fleet and infrastructure in Crimea. Taking those out doesn't just cause immediate tactical setbacks. It reduces Ukraine's ability to strike back in meaningful, asymmetric ways. In essence, every geran 2 that gets through is not just an explosion, it's a domino. A UAV factory goes offline. A power node shuts down. A recon drone never takes off. Over time, these micro-hits accumulate into a macro shift in the balance of force. For Ukrainian troops, this means degraded intelligence and slower response times. For commanders, it means fewer options and higher costs. Geran 2 is redefining how modern artillery works. It doesn't come from barrels or howitzers. It comes from a distance, low to the ground, swarming and loitering. And unlike traditional firepower, it never runs out because Russia is building them faster than Ukraine can shoot them down. That brings us to the end of today. Thanks for watching.